Let's first have a look at the base scene, which you can download from the description. This contains a background and a second composition called rocket. The rocket consists of three things: the rocket itself, and then the exhaust glow and the exhaust plume. So if you want to build this yourself, make sure that you keep these separate, as we will be animating these two. So let's go back to our main composition and drag in our rocket. I'm going to click this and rotate it. And if you want, you can go to the colors here and change some of the main colors. I'm going to leave this as it is. And we're ready to start the tutorial. Let's start by keyframing the position around frame 20, then going to frame 0 and bringing the rocket out of the frame. Then give it a little bit of movement in the next few frames, just so it's not too static. And then let's make it disappear again. Go back a little bit, make this even more extreme. I'm going to give this some magic easing. There we go. Now let's add some anticipation before the rocket departs. I'm going to add a squash and stretch deformer. And over here around frame 60, I'm going to set this amount of squash and stretch to 0, set a keyframe. Then bring this back. Then add a hold. So make this slightly different so there's a little bit of movement, and then quickly stretch this in the other direction. That looks good. Now let's add the light streaks. I'm going to go into my line tool and add a line. I'm just going to make sure that it's aligned with the rocket. Go to the stroke, increase the width. Set this to white, and let's duplicate this, change the color, and let's change the width as well. And again, duplicate this just so we have some variation. There we go. Now let's select these three and add a duplicator. By default, the duplicator is set to grid. Let's set this to random instead. And let's increase the width and the height, so we have enough streaks outside the frame as well. And now I'm going to just move these shapes under my duplicator and move this beneath the rocket. I'm going to set the opacity around 40%. And when we play this back, there's no movement. What we can do is we can go to the random seed here, and when we change this, the distribution changes. And so we can simply add a frame behavior, which means that the seed is now the value of the frame. And this gives us a different distribution for every frame. Now let's go to the rocket and add some movement there. I'm going to add some movement to the exhaust plume. I'm going to add a noise deformer. Let's go to the settings of the noise deformer and make these values a bit larger so we can see what's happening. By default, the movement is very slow, so let's go to the time scale and set this to 50. This is a lot faster. And now we want less movement around the exhaust here. So I'm going to go into the noise, add a fall off, and then increase the size of this fall off and bring it down around this area. So now the noise is affecting this area, but not the area above the circle. And this looks good. We can also add some movement to the rocket by adding a distort edges filter. By default, this movement is again a little bit slow. So let's go to the settings, go to shader and set the time scale to 5. And that looks good. If you want less movement, just go to the filter settings and set the amplitude a bit lower. Now, when the rocket takes off, you want there to be this exhaust glow that should increase in size. So let's go to the settings here, around frame 60, keyframe the radius, then go a bit further, increase the size, increase it further, and then make this smaller again. So that when we arrive at this point in our animation, we see this build up. Now you see the edges here of our rocket. We can hide those by using the artboard setting. The artboard ignores the boundaries of the original composition. Now when the rocket takes off, if we want this to be even more dramatic, we can go to the background shape and we can keyframe the opacity. And when we set this lower, we see the background color, which is white. There we go. Now you can give the streaks the same style as the rocket by going to filters and adding an distort edges filter here as well. Finally, we can add a little bit of camera shake by adding in a camera. We have to make sure that the 2.5D layers are enabled here. And then we can use the freeform, keyframe this, and then just set a different position for a few frames. And when you have a few keyframes, you can set this to 0 again, and then just select all and go to loop after looping. And now we have some camera shake. And this is our final result. The viewport is struggling to keep up. That's mainly because of the edge distortion for the rocket. That's quite heavy. So if you're working on this, you can disable it and then enable it again when you're rendering. If you like this tutorial format where we do a small project in a short amount of time, please let me know in the comments. I'm not sure if this format works, but if it works, I will do more of these types of tutorials.